Welcome to those 90s Teachers podcast with Tasya and Zahra, where we are currently taking up space in the education arena in different parts of the world.
Throughout this journey, you will learn about being a teacher in today's society as we share personal stories and life experiences in the classroom.
Back with another episode, 7 of them 90s Teachers.
Ooh, yes, we're
Yes.
still here and we're excited.
We're so excited. First of all, you guys have been blowing our Instagram up. We're so grateful. Thank you so much for, I'm going to say 500 because by the time I'm pretty sure we launch this episode
Yeah,
today, we'll have 500.
I agree. I think right now I'm gonna just double check where we are, but
Drum roll, please.
yeah. If my phone allows me. Oh, we're at 491. I
I
think we're definitely gonna reach 500 for sure.
Absolutely. We're
1,000%.
gonna make it.
But thank you guys for all your continuous support of us at the 90s Teachers, for even joining our live this week and showing us love and letting us know what you guys want us to talk about in the future, and just like letting us know what you like about our podcast or just us as people and as educators. We truly appreciate every single one of you. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so, so much. And even for the comments that you left about how much you guys like the podcast, how you guys relate to the podcast, the
Yeah.
comments underneath the post have true, and even on Spotify, like you guys have been really responding to the polls and the questions. Like, thank you guys. That means a lot to us.
Literally.
Yeah,
Hashtag them 90s Teachers
90s teachers
everywhere.
everywhere. But girl, let's catch up. How have you been? How's your week been?
My week has been really it's been great. But it's been long because I'm with me. I was a little sick, so whenever I get my cramps, it hurts. So I was like a little feeling a little tense and just in pain, but I'm okay. But it was really nice because we were planning for my brother's proposal. So he actually proposed to his now fiance. So it was surprise,
Yes.
and it was really beautiful. So he did that, and I was just counting down to the wedding. The bridal shower is going down next weekend, and the week after that is the actual wedding. So it's just been a lot, but it's been like a good amount of a lot, like just surrounded by love. So
That's
other
so
than that,
exciting.
yeah. And he's my younger brother, and oh my god. Because I'm the oldest of seven. So it's like really cool. So I got married when I was 23.
Wow.
Yeah, I was young. I'm like 6 years in now. It's beautiful. So now I have another buddy or two buddies to join me because my other brother is actually getting married too in October. So
Wow. That's such a
yeah,
blessing. That's amazing.
I
Congratulations to
know.
them. That's so
Thank
awesome.
you.
That's
Thank you. So
awesome.
it's just been a lot of event planning and things like that this week for me, but it's been good. Oh, and my Walmart Canada dropped. They dropped the
Let's
reel. So I'm
go.
on that page. Make sure you guys tag your favorite teacher under the Walmart Canada Instagram. So you do that. You don't have to tag us, of course, but if you want to, you guys can definitely do that. But tag a teacher that you appreciate, so show teachers some love. But how are you? How was your week? Fill us
My
in.
all right, cool. My week has been very reflective. Um, I am an only child, but on my dad's side, I do have a younger sister and I have an older brother and a younger brother. My sister is 3 years younger than me. But sometimes during the year she's 4 years younger than me because her birthday's in December. But over the past few years, we really have been building our relationship up so, so strong. So this week we connected really deeply this week when we hung out. We spent some time in Brooklyn together. And honestly, if y'all don't know me, I'm from New York, but I do not like Brooklyn. Like I have like this thing I do. I think remember when I saw you, I was like, I do not like Brooklyn. But my mind has been renewed because I'm starting to like it. Okay. I'm from Queens and
Yes.
Queens get the money. So we don't mess with I'm playing. Please don't shoot me.
Don't attack her. Please don't.
I'm playing. No, but like I have been, we spent a lot. She lives in Brooklyn right now. So we
Mhm.
spent some time in Brooklyn together. We started, we were connecting together. We were praying together. We were just like really like connecting on a deeper level this week. So I
Yeah.
really appreciated that. And it's like the love that I really feel like I needed this week also. So it
Yeah.
was a
No,
good
I
week.
I love that for you,
Mhm,
honestly. That is so beautiful. Sometimes, like, you never know, like, spontaneous times we're just connecting and going deeper with family members is beautiful, you know? You can be
mhm.
with, if you're taking the time to actually, like, pour into each other, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
But
and
I'm shocked. I love Brooklyn. I'm not even from New York, but, like, I fell in love with Brooklyn. Like, one place that I can see myself if I were to settle down in a city like that or in New York would
mhm.
be Brooklyn. It's so I love the vibes. It's so cool. But I
You know what it is? Like I grew up in Queens my whole life,
yeah,
and Queens is a very like I don't know, you've been to like the city part of
both.
Queens,
Yeah.
but my part of Queens is very like suburban. There's
Okay.
like more like the houses aren't spread apart, but they're close together, but it's more like a suburb town, you
Suburb.
know.
Okay. Then that
So yeah, so when
makes
I go
sense.
to Brooklyn, it's like
Yeah.
when I used to go before, it just felt so chaotic, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is too much. But
Yeah.
now that they've changed Brooklyn up so much, a
Yeah.
lot. Like from when you went, from when I the last time I was in that part of town that I was in this today,
Mhm.
it completely has changed in like a span of about 5 to 10 years. Like
Wow.
looks completely different. So it's crazy because when I went there last week, I'm like, wow, I remember I was here like 5 years ago. It did not look the same.
Look the same.
So to me, the vibe is a lot more conducive
Different.
to who I am now. But before, I'm like, there's no way
It
you
was a
can
lot.
catch me here.
No,
You
I
know?
get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Because the first time I was telling you when I went to New York City when I was 21, we were staying in like Times Square, and I felt like that was too chaotic or like it was a lot. So when I came back this time and I was in like Long Island, Queens, and
Mhm.
Brooklyn. That's like where we stayed the whole time. I enjoyed it that much more. 'Cause it was a little bit more or less like less fast paced than it is and not too many people or too many lights. So yeah, no,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, it was just too much. And
Yeah.
I went now and I'm like, okay, it is a vibe here. I
Yeah,
kind of
it's a
like
vibe. It's a vibe. It's just like, I don't know, man.
it.
Brooklyn won me over, man. It's a vibe. It's a
It's a
vibe.
vibe. All right, girl. So it's always great catching up with you because you're such a vibe too. But so yeah, so today we're gonna switch it up a little bit because we have been having very, very dense episodes. I mean, last week, if you haven't listened to last week's episode, it was about people abusing children and
Yeah.
someone killing a
Killing,
child.
murdering.
Yeah,
It was heavy. I feel like because you like a lot of the topics that we were covering so far have been very heavy, especially with what was being put out in the news. So we decided to keep it a bit more light. And for you guys to get to know us, but for us also to get to know each other because we're new friends, and we're excited to like grow this beautiful friendship of ours. And I already know it's going to be a beautiful thing because just from the bat where we met each other right off the bat. Sometimes I feel like I don't know, in like my religion, they say sometimes like you have met a soul before. So that's why there's a familiarity because of like your past life that you guys were friends or some sort of like friendship that was already there. So like that's what I felt like when I first met you. I feel like we just
mhm,
already connected from the bat, you
definitely.
know? Like sometimes you meet someone like, yo, I feel like I've been knowing
I
you,
know. And I think
right?
what's crazy to me too is that I used to DM you and I used to like react to your stories. But I think what's crazy is that like you always say that you get a lot of DMs. So it's just crazy that like you
Yeah,
reacted to my DM and
yeah,
then you saw my DM about me reaching out about the live series. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
That's
things just
crazy to
happen. It's
me.
crazy because like I've met so many people now through my DMs, and like my DMs is crazy. So sometimes I do take time and reply back to people. So I'm so happy that we've connected and
Me
look where
too.
we are now. Like, wait,
I
like
know.
it was,
Wild.
I think it was supposed to happen. Like, it was already meant to be. Like, it was already
Absolutely.
written. So,
Already right.
man, already there.
Yes. So, the first part is going to be a two-part episode. So the first part, we're going to play a game, and it's called The And. So it sounds weird, but it's not a full sentence. It's called The And, right? Like THE and like and, like you're saying something else.
Yeah.
And I found this game because Okay, I'm the type of friend that is very into like having deep conversations, but I never know how to start them off, or I don't want to make the other person feel uncomfortable because
Mhm.
I always want to ask like very deep, in-depth questions.
Yeah.
So I found this game because Jada Pinkett Smith and her daughter Willow Smith had a game that they were promoting. It was called We're Not Really Strangers.
Yeah,
And yeah,
I know that game. I
yes, so
play
I
it
got
all
that
the
game too.
time.
I got that game
Yes, I
too.
love that.
It's so good. And so and I didn't know this was a card game, but on YouTube, they always have videos of people and playing the game. But I didn't realize they were playing a game because they were just having like these important conversations. Then
Yeah.
when I looked it up, I was like, oh my God, it's a card game. Anyways, found the app. Me and Zara are gonna play it today. Um, and so first things first, like it tells us to we have to like I mean we're virtual, but we have to look at each other for at least 30 seconds, right? And then after we,
You know I had to.
and then after we do that, then we're gonna then I'll start asking the questions since Zara can't see the questions, but we'll start asking the questions together. I will respond to one, Zara responds to one, to the same question too. Or it can be like whoever wants to go first can go.
I love that. It's gonna keep it
Okay.
organic, keep it fun, and it's gonna be great.
Gonna be great.
Yeah.
So, you ready?
Okay. Are we looking at each other? Is that a
Yes,
thing?
we're looking. Yeah,
Okay.
so let me just pull the timer up so that it's like 30 seconds.
Okay. 30 seconds. So all
30
you guys
seconds.
are watching this on Spotify and YouTube, you seeing our face just looking at each other for 30 seconds. So just know that.
Just no. Okay, ready?
Okay.
And go. Stop.
Sorry. Oh no, didn't. I'm still looking.
Me too. Dang. Hold on. Okay, 13. Hold on. 13. Let me put it up here so I can still look at you.
Yeah, that's smart.
6 seconds left.
Oh, it's there.
You're done.
Yeah, it makes it harder because we're virtual, guys. That's the funny part. Like I'm literally looking diagonal, and I'm a goof, guys. If you don't know, I could not stop like seeing myself from
Oh my
laughing.
God, as soon as we started.
I'm so sorry. It's me. I'm the problem. My cheeks already
Oh,
hurt.
okay. Oh, that was so funny.
Oh,
All right. Ready for the first question? Okay,
let's go.
let's go. All right. First question. Tell me about an experience that changed your life.
Ooh, okay. I had an experience that definitely changed my life. For me, okay, so yeah, an experience that changed my life is my chronic illness for sure. I was undiagnosed for like 2 years and a half. So when I first got sick, um, I just felt like my body was not my body anymore. Like it was deteriorating. So like they kept saying that was having anxiety attacks, but I'm not a person who really stresses. So it didn't make any sense. I was in and out the emergency rooms. Doctors would gaslight me. It was horrible. I think like mentally I was to the point that I was broken. Like I would ask doctors. I remember my husband would take me, and this is before COVID, because I told you it's like starting my second semester of my first year of teachers college. And then I remember I couldn't breathe properly. I would feel lightheaded. My muscles would hurt. My chest would tighten. Like it was horrible, and I went through that for like 4 months. And then I countless doctors I've seen, cardiologists, in and out the emergency rooms, like water, like it was crazy. I even had at one point I had to move him back. I had to move back in with my mom because it was like really bad. Like I could not move for myself or take care of myself. And my husband had to work at that time. There was no like working from home. So it was hard. It was like in our second year of marriage. So
Wow.
it was horrible, guys. But one thing that it made me is stronger. And then I had a doctor who had helped me. So at that point, I figured out that like I was vitamin D deficient and my iron was really low. So I started taking supplements. And then they told me I had something called, it's crazy. They like gave me different diagnosis every day, but they made me believe
Wow.
something called costochondritis. And I
Wow.
know if you can't say it, it's okay. But what the ER doctor was telling me at that time was like, it's like, oh, you have inflammation in your rib cage, because I couldn't press on my rib cage. So even when they were doing like an echogram, and an echogram is like it's an ultrasound for the heart. So in order, they have to press hard. So the technician couldn't press hard because it was hurting so much. I was in so much pain, and my chest was
Mm,
so tender because of my chronic illness that it made it even worse. So he's like, okay, no, I think you have costochondritis. So every time, like, when my friends would ask me, what do you have, because they were on the journey with me too, because it affected, I couldn't even go out anymore.
mm,
I had to be like virtual, like learning from home, like a couple of weeks, because it was horrible. um so I'd be like, I have costochondritis, I have this. So then I got better a bit. Then I was working at a camp that summer. And then that second year of teachers college, I was doing so good. And then I remember it was COVID happened. And like that's when we were graduating. COVID happened. We were in lockdown 2020. You already know the world shut down.
mhm,
And then I was fasting, so, and it was around like April, the end of April going into May. So that was the first time that I fasted, like, because I couldn't fast the year before because I was sick. So this year I was like, okay, I can fast again, I'm stronger. So I fasted my day, like the month. And literally a week after, um I started getting really bad migraines, and I never used to get migraines, so the migraines were horrible. I would be in and out the hospitals again. This time I couldn't walk. I had vertigo as well. And vertigo is where, like,
wow.
when the balance in your ear
Yeah.
from your brain is off. So then the world is kind of spinning, and
Mhm.
it is the worst feeling. So I had that for 4 months. I was in and out the hospitals.
Oh
Like,
my
it was
gosh.
horrible. Yeah, I went to a functional medicine doctor. Like, and then I switched doctors because my family doctor was being horrible to me. And one thing that I guys can tell you is Black women pain is not right. Like, they really believe that we're not in pain. Like, it was horrible. Like, I would just be crying. I think out of like my whole experience, I only had like three really, really, really nice doctors out of like 1,000, like 20. So that already shows you. So, and then I got a new doctor. Thank you to my husband, who his first cousin, she's a doctor, she's a physician, she's a family doctor.
Wow.
But she was living in Ottawa, which is 4 hours away, but she moved to Toronto. So she got me into her clinic. So her co-worker became my family doctor. She helped me tremendously, got me all the specialists that I need. And then I got the rheumatologist, which is like a doctor who can investigate more on muscles and like more chronic illnesses. And then they told me, hey, you have fibromyalgia, and fibromyalgia is a chronic illness where it just can happen out the blue, and you're just like where your brain releases signals, like basically starts attacking your like your human your body your systems.
Mm,
So, and then I was just in pain, like on 100 every single day, like I could not move. So I started taking medication for a month, and it was night and day. I started supplying teaching. So after that month, I got my employee number came in, and at February 18 was my first ever supply shift after like me getting diagnosed, being on the medication, and then I felt brand new. So that is why, again, when I tell you that why I love teaching so much is because at one point in my life I felt like I wouldn't be able to teach or even complete my education, yet alone even teach in the classroom. So I think that is why every single day I'm so happy. And that's why I always preach that health is wealth, because it can just be taken away from you at any time. So I'm happy that God at least put me through that test so I can appreciate what I have in life right now even more.
amen. Wow.
Yeah.
That is, first of all, thanks for sharing. How long did you have to go through that?
Oh
Like
my God, 2 years and a half. It was
2
horrible.
years and a half?
Yeah, 2 years and a half, on and off. But
Wow.
the last 6 months was the worst because like it was I couldn't even walk. I couldn't, like, it was horrible. I was in the room. My room was dark. I was bedridden. I was like, all I could do was cry because like mentally was broken. Like I was so defeated. Like I still have videos on my phone where like I'm crying, and
Mhm,
because I like to document, and I
mm,
like it still triggers. Like I still have PTSD because of course like it's a lot mentally and physically,
mm,
but I'm I am where I am today, or the reason why I am the way, like my mindset is because of that. So I'm thankful. And again, it it allowed me to not be shamed of my chronic illness, but also show people that I have an invisible illness. Because from the outside, you don't think I'm sick, I look normal, but that pain that I was going through for 2 years and a half is real. So all the tests
Mhm.
come back normal. Everybody thinks it's in your head, but you're actually in so much pain because it's a nuance, it's a newer illness, and there's not a lot of research, but there's a lot of people who are actually diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and everybody's fibromyalgia is different. So
Mhm.
I think that how it looks in different people. So it's very hard, but it shaped who I am today for sure. Like I'm every
Wow.
day I wake up, life is a blessing. Like for me to walk, to even exercise, I couldn't even exercise, guys. Like imagine, and I love exercising, like going on walks, and I couldn't do that for 2 years and a half. So I'm
Wow.
forever grateful. Yeah. And
So
I'm
are you
grateful.
fully healed from it? Like, do you still get pain?
Yeah, I get pains, but like not as much. Like it's usually like if I do too much, if I overexert my body, sometimes I gotta take it a bit more easier. But I feel much better than I did before. I thought like it's like night and day with my medication. So it's like night and day. But it's a beautiful thing because like my family, my friends, my husband, like I appreciate him
Mhm.
so much. Like they rallied like around me. They were there for me, like my rocks
That's
when I really
beautiful.
needed people. So
Mhm. That's
yeah,
so beautiful.
yeah. It's hard though. I'm not like those who go through chronic illness. I get it. Like I've been through it. It's
Mm.
hard. So yeah, it's like I appreciate people and community much, much more for sure now than I ever did before.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Strong.
Okay. Wow. I give you so much respect for that. Yeah. Wow. I never had like a condition like that before. The closest
Yeah.
I've had was I've had pneumonia when
Oh,
I was overworking myself
yeah.
when I was about 18 years old. And I used to work you ever heard of Century 21, the department store?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so I just started school at FIT. You guys don't
Yeah.
know that's Fashion Institute of
Gosh.
Technology in New York. I started school there, but that school, a lot of the students there, they go above and beyond. That's the
Yeah.
culture. They'll
Yeah.
have a job, they'll have an internship, they'll be working full time at school, and I kind of took on that same kind of culture. So
Yeah.
the closest I've ever gotten to that level of sickness was having
Mhm.
pneumonia.
But pneumonia is actually dangerous. Like I feel like a lot of people like think it's easy, but no, pneumonia is dangerous
I
because it can
thought,
turn
yeah.
into sepsis if you really don't take care of it and get the proper medication or seek out the proper help. So I get it. And it's hard though, like especially for your lungs. It's very hard.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
terrible. But for me, the experience that changed my life was I would have to say it was about three years ago. I was in a relationship for about 3 years, but on the third year, um, people you start seeing true colors. The
Yeah.
third year was also the COVID year. And I was very close with my ex and with his family. And so it came to a point where I found out that he was being not honest with me, as in like not fidelis with me.
Mhm.
He ends up turning the whole story get about to make it seem like it was me that did something which I never did. So then it's like he flipped the switch on me, made it seem like it was me, and then I guess like got everybody that was connected to him to believe the same thing. And so after that happened, one of the people that he was really close to that I kind of looked up to, like as, a mentor, she ended up turning on me too. But very subtly, right? I say this with respect to, but very subtly. Even me telling the story is very difficult for me because
Yeah.
there was a lot of gaslighting. There was a lot of like subtle manipulations. And even like when I talk to my mom about it to this day, she's like, oh, I never liked that lady. She will tell me
Yeah.
to the beginning, like moms always know, but she's
They
like, I
know.
never liked that lady. Like,
One thing about moms, they know. They
They
know before
know.
they know
Moms know.
for sure.
My mom was like, "I never liked that lady. Something was off. I didn't know what it was." Anyways, there's a lot of things that were said. Um, and to this day, I don't remember them because I like, even like I said, telling the story is hard, but I don't
Um,
remember them fully because it's like I think I went through so much trauma during that point that my
mhm,
brain legitimately just blocked it out.
yeah.
Seriously.
Hmm.
Um, but anyways, that moment changed my life because after realizing that I had to take a step back from these people, because me and my ex, we were done, right? But I was still trying to keep a connection with her. Even though because I wasn't really aware that she wasn't really for me. I was
Hmm.
still thinking like, oh, like we can still maintain this, because she would always
Hmm.
say, it doesn't matter what happens between you guys, like we can always still be cool.
Yeah.
So I kind of went through that same mentality, like, okay, everything's fine. And then, but whenever I would talk to my mom about it, or a close friend, they would say, "I don't know if she's that healthy to be around." And when
Mm.
I started recognizing it, I started being like, "Yeah, I don't think so either." Right. And so once I started to like slowly, try to keep like make a safe boundary for myself, and then eventually like distance to the point of that I could, we ended up having a closing conversation. She called me one time, and like, we were able to have a closing conversation where it wasn't
Mhm.
like we were like getting rid of each other, but it was more so a point where like, we could kind of feel each other out a bit.
Yeah.
Once we had that conversation, I kind of felt like the freedom to really just let it go and be like, you know what? This is not for me anymore.
Mhm.
Obviously, I went through a severe heartbreak because it was like for the past 3 to 4 years, I was around these people. I looked at them as family.
Yeah.
My ex, I lost him. I lost her. I lost literally the family that I had for the past 3 years all disappeared. They never spoke to me again, right? And
Mhm.
I
Like
didn't hear anything
death. I feel
from
like
them.
people always forget. Like it's like you're grieving. It's death. Like, you've been around these people for so long. You formed your own relationships outside of your ex with these people who you think, hey, like you guys are like my family, and for it to all just be gone like that is it's heartbreaking and it's a lot to taking. So I get it.
Wild. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So didn't hear from them, or I would hear from them if like they needed something, and I would answer, like I would talk to them.
Hmm.
But even so, it's like it's okay, because at the end of the day, I realized that those were not my people, those are his people. So
Yes.
of course they would take, his,
Yeah.
because they're his people, you know what I mean?
Right.
So going to the point where it changed my life. It changed my life because it kind of gave me the first look to know that I had to not only rely on God, on my own
Yeah.
perception of God, because I realized that I was holding this lady as like at a pedestal, and
Yeah.
instead of like seeking my own intimate relationship with God, I kind of was leaning on someone else to. I don't really, to this day, I don't really know what I was looking for. I think I was just looking for guidance, but I
Yeah.
looked more to man for guidance than to God for guidance. And
Hmm.
so I still, take responsibility for that, because what you didn't know, you didn't know. So
You didn't
you
know
live
you were
and you
young
learn.
still, like you're still learning, and
Yeah.
people take advantage of good people all the time.
Mhm,
So, and you seem like a great person. So a lot of people sometimes will use and abuse that against you because they know you'll go above and beyond no matter what, because that's just who you are as a person.
mhm,
So I get it. So don't like look down on yourself. Like, you've come through it, you
mhm,
survived, and now you have a new outlook and you have expectations and you hold yourself to another standard and you learn now, what you
mhm.
and what you're gonna not do in the future.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
lesson.
So, right.
Mhm.
So I started documenting myself too, though. Like throughout
Yeah.
my heartbreak, I saw Beyonce would video diary her experiences. So I was like, oh, maybe I should do that too. So I started to go on my what do you call it, photo booth on
Photo
the
booth,
Match.
yeah. I
And
did
I
photo booth
really
too.
I
I have
literally
videos and stuff of me literally with heart monitors on, and I'm just like, I had like literally videos of me. Oh
Yes.
my God.
Yes,
Crazy that you
I
just
know,
said that.
crazy. I literally would video myself crying, like
Yeah.
my video, like my experience for the day. Let's say like the woman called me that day and I would have like anxious reaction. I would video vlog that too, just in my photo booth. And I would just talk to myself through it. I would talk to myself as if I was talking to God. I would talk to God in
Yeah.
the video. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just like having a way to release it because sometimes when having all those feelings to write it down it
Yeah.
just your
Wow.
hand hurts.
Your
It's
hand
a
hurts. My
lot.
hand been hurting. That's why I literally went into recording because I legit my hand would cramp and I legit
Exactly.
had no muscles anywhere. So I was like, okay, let me just record. And
Right.
we did
So I
the
would do that.
exact same thing. Wow, two peas in a pod.
That's crazy. And so I would do that. I would listen to really uplifting music. I hung out a lot with my sister and and I just tried to surround myself with people
Yeah.
that I knew had my best interest at heart.
Yeah.
And then I just started to and I just started my business too. I just started my business and I just started my doctoral program at that time too. So I just remember having days where I was in my second semester of my doctoral program, and I remember I had a paper due, and I was like, I'd never experienced heartbreak like that before.
Yeah.
So it's like it really feels like you are legitimately ill. Like I could not
True.
even do my work, and I've never. It's just so unlike me to not be able to do something because I can do anything, you know.
Mm.
But to be in that moment where I couldn't even do work was so
Yeah.
odd. I literally had to message my professor like, I'm sorry, I know this is late, but can I please do this? And then he was like, of course, yeah, submit it Saturday or whatever. I
Yeah.
submitted it and I still got a really amazing grade. But the
Yeah.
thing is that it's just so interesting how heartbreak can literally feed into every part of your being.
No, it can. Like what I remember reading a book before. I forgot what the book title was, but when I find it, I'll send it to you and let you guys know. But I it talks about how like our day-to-day like interactions or even our people that we're closest to in our emotions, how that can have an effect in our body, like with our health. Like it's a thing. It
Yeah.
legit it's a thing where like it can make you feel physically ill
Yes.
because of your emotions and what you're going through and the circumstances you're surrounded by. So
Yeah.
I for you to tell me that, it makes sense because emotional trauma or just even when you said that you put it in the back of your head, you may
Hmm.
think that you did, but it will show up in
Yep.
your system, like in through
Mhm.
your health, because
Yep.
your body knows that you're not okay. You're dealing with something that's too stressful. So it kind of puts it in the back burner, but it shows up in you being physically ill.
It's
So yeah,
true. It's so true. So like I said, that was so then I also meditated. I used to listen to this
yeah,
meditation tape and it was called You're on a New Timeline. I would listen to that every night. Every night because I was like nothing is working. Like I
yeah,
was so broken. I would talk to God every night, crying on the couch in my basement, just crying, just in pain, like not understanding. And I would still push hard for my business. I would still like push, push, push. But it wasn't until like I started to just give everything to God.
yeah,
And then also start renewing my mind, like listening to tapes that told me that what I was going through was not the end of it, but just the beginning. And it transformed me because it was at like your breaking point. You
yeah.
realize that it's really kind of only up from here.
Yo, like the fact that you just said that is crazy because even when I was on my breaking Portasia, the only thing that kept it moving is this one line. And I used to listen to a lot of like Islamic lectures. This one line that's like in the Quran, it says, with every hardship will come ease. And like
Wow.
that's what I kept repeating to myself, with every hardship will come ease, to the point that now like I am the epitome of that. Like my experiences show that. Like I was in the most broken I've ever been in my life. And now look at where I am today, So it is true.
Wow.
With every hardship does come ease. And like it
Good.
says in the line is repeated twice. So I was just like, I did the same thing. Like I would be crying to God. One thing is that like with my religion, I feel like my spirit it got stronger.
Yes.
Have more of a relationship with God. With my prayers, I'm more intentional. I talk to God every single day,
Right.
from the morning to the night. So like that is a beautiful thing. So I feel like
Hmm.
from me going through that, it made my relationship with God that even much more stronger than before. And I feel like I needed to go through that in order to understand,
Hmm.
So wow. And the fact that you just said that, it just came into my mind. So wow.
Yeah, no, that's great because even there's a Bible verse too that says, weeping may last for a night, but joy comes in the morning. It's
Yeah,
like literally the same principle.
literally.
And from that, right, from me doing that, that's actually how for me doing that work, that's actually how I was able to be connected by to Natalie, who's my one of my closest friends now. But yeah, because it's so interesting because then when I was just doing those things, and then when I would hear her speak, because she invited me to like a group thing. I met her on Instagram too, actually,
That
randomly.
is so cool. That is
Yeah.
cool. She's cool people. She guys, she's incredible.
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing.
But yeah, that's literally I met her on Instagram randomly because I never reached out to her. She didn't even reach out to me. It was like she was starting like this marketing campaign. So it was one of those when you get those brand ambassador email spam
Yeah.
calls. It was one of those things that I just happened to respond to. And that's how I met her. And when I would hear her speak on our group calls, because then we started doing group calls together with
Mhm.
her community. And she was saying the things that I was learning on my own by
Yeah.
myself with God. So I was like, wow, this is alignment.
Yeah.
And that's when things started to shift, when I started to heal starting the healing process of the pain I went through.
Yeah.
And then also just speaking my feelings out to myself.
As you should.
And, you know, so yeah,
Hmm.
that's the moment.
That's beautiful.
Hmm.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah. Ready for this
Yeah.
second question?
Yes. Wow. Whew.
So
All right.
deep, right? I'm
Deep.
telling you.
Wow.
Okay. All right. So, okay. Describe what you think my backstory is.
Hmm.
Hmm. Take it however you
So
interpret.
describe what I think your backstory is.
Yeah.
Well, for me, like I already kind of like even before you told that story, I feel like you're a person who's been through it. Like you've been through some things in life, but you overcame. Like you're always triumphant. Like you come out. Like you never give up. And the reason why I say that is because even on like IG, that's where I met you, was on Instagram. And with your posts, the consistency of it and the messaging that you've been relaying and how you want to uplift people and how you want to tell people you can do this. If I can do this, you can do this too. That is the reason why I think that way. So it's a person that's like been through like I'm not even saying like something crazy in life, like has to be a bad experience, but I feel like your life has changed multiple times, or maybe your purpose has changed multiple times to find what you truly are passionate for. And it kind of shows through the content that you post. I can see like your strive, but also the vision, you're like a big visionary person, and I feel like that's the reason why I got that backstory. Yeah, if that
Yeah.
makes
That
sense.
was that. Yeah. That was pretty good. Yeah. Because yeah. Wow. That was really that was
Yeah.
really good.
Well, watching your videos like yo, like whoa, and you come off very wise too. Like,
Really?
yeah,
Wow. Thank
yeah, for
you.
sure. Yeah, you come off wise,
Thank
like
you.
a person that like I've learned some tools, and you're here you go. Like I'm sharing the same tools that worked for me that I've learned, and here you guys go. Like use this, like this is my playbook, and I know that it works, and you're sharing it free of cost too, which is so like just like a big hearted person.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
No
Um,
problem.
Yeah.
But was that close to the story? Is that close to is
I
it?
mean, yeah, like that was pretty spot on.
Okay.
Whenever someone, but like I like that you said that that's not like terrible things because whenever someone says like, you've been through a lot, I've literally been battling with God like about did I even go through anything in
Mhm.
life, you
No,
know?
yeah. But that's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to belittle because people go through different things. It doesn't have to be something super dramatic, like
Right.
on path, like, it can just be trials and tribulations through getting to where you are today,
Hmm.
where Tasia is today. Was it like an area you always knew what you're doing, or maybe
Hmm.
you had to find yourself or change your path a couple of times? And
Hmm.
that's what I mean.
No, that was pretty spot on because I definitely have over the past few years. I was in fashion, then teaching.
Yeah,
Now I feel
yeah,
like I'm going through the same cycle again, where it's like,
yeah,
but my main objective is really to please God and to do
yeah,
what He wants me to do,
yeah,
and to, I just find my authentic place.
yeah. I get
That's
that.
really what it is.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that. And
Hmm.
I know you will.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
Yeah. For you, let's see. It's so hard because you told me so much.
okay. You got to take all of that away.
I know, I know, I know.
First glimpse of what you see on my page. What is the
Oh,
story?
let's
What is the
see. What
backstory in
is
this?
the backstory? Let's see, backstory. Well, you know what? You were married, you got married very young.
Yeah, I did.
So I kind of think like what must have had to transpire in your childhood to make you so mature to be able to be ready for marriage. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because first of all, you're also the oldest out of your whole family. So I figure that had to cause a lot of responsibility on you,
yeah,
especially since like you call your younger brother like your son.
yeah.
So
There's a lot of
I kind of imagine that you had like to, and you also come off as very wise
yeah.
and
Thank
also
you.
very humble and very like as if like when I first met you, you kind of put all the attention on me, which I'm not used to. So it
Yeah.
was different for me. It's like you constantly want to make sure the other person is seen, heard, and valued first. So I can imagine that possibly throughout your childhood you may not have always been heard because you
Yeah.
were the oldest, right? So then it's like you had to kind of play like a mom role to like your siblings because maybe they had a lot of work to do and like you had to be the one to step up and be there for your siblings,
Mhm.
so that everything can kind of go well.
Yeah.
So now like in your adulthood you just are you care so much for kids because you're like I don't want kids to feel as if they're not heard, seen, or valued because I kind of felt like that when I was younger as well. Like you want
You
to
hit
make
on
sure
point.
that
Yeah.
they you want to make sure
Yes.
that everybody gets an equal amount of love
Yeah.
because you don't want them to go back to or feel the way that you felt and when you were a kid.
Yeah.
um but that's also why you are so humble because
Mhm.
you're like I grew up in this way. So I just always remember where I came from. So despite like how much you have been blessed, even like with your health or even like with your page or with your influence that you have acquired, it's like you always go back to your roots, you always go back to where you came from because you know that you wouldn't have gotten any of this without God.
Facts. You hit it on the mark. That's so true. It's crazy. What? Are you sure you didn't talk to my sister?
No,
Are you sure?
you talk to your
No, but
mama.
everything, yeah, no, everything you said literally hit the mark because it is true. And like people sometimes when they meet me, they're shocked, especially when people come, they want to interview me and they're like, whoa, like you do a lot, and I'm like, yeah, like I'm more than just the clothes that I wear. Like I'm a person that likes to put people first. Like I love to help people. I'm a person of service
Mhm.
always. And again, it is because I'm the oldest of seven. It's because I had a lot of responsibilities. It's because my parents were immigrants to Canada. It was a lot of pressure, right? Like if I fail, then I'm setting the tone for all my six other younger siblings. So that's a lot of pressure too to
Pressure.
uphold,
Hmm.
But hence why too, why I always connect with kids or just everybody, or I let people talk and I'm a great listener, is because I want people to be heard or to share their stories first, or so I can just be like a person where you can just lean on. Does like you can
Yeah,
even not even afraid if you it could be
absolutely.
someone on the street, like, and that's why I get a lot of people who always come to me, message me and say that they feel comfortable sharing or they want to come to talk to me about advice. Is because I'm like genuinely I love sitting and hearing people's stories and trying to figure out any way that I could make someone's life more easier. So
Hmm.
it don't work. Wow.
Yeah, girl. I can kind of relate to the pressure part because I'm an only child. So, and my mom is a single mom. She grew me up single, single parent. So
Yeah.
it's like the pressure of wanting to please my mom because knowing
Yeah.
that I'm all she really has, I
Yeah.
have
Like
to
I'm the
make,
man.
I gotta do, yeah.
Yeah. And like
So,
as immigrant kids, like, like first generation for me, it's like, bro, like I'm my parents' investment. Like they came to this country, they're looking for me, like, they're telling me education, education, education. And for me to help them out in the future, because even in our culture, is like we have to help our parents like retire,
mhm,
but also take care of them when they're older. So it's like a full kind of circle moment, right? They raise
right,
us, they take care of us, and we have to return the favor
right.
when they need the help. So it was like a lot of pressure, and especially living in like Canada where it's everything costs a lot of money now, and
Yeah,
inflation is like insane. So you kind
mhm,
of don't want to be um like your parents to look at you as you failed, or you failed
of
them
course,
because it's like we're like I'm an investment essentially, but like
of
they love
course.
me, but it's like the American dream that they
Canadian
want to
American, I
project.
feel
Yeah,
you.
even though I'm
Yeah.
in Canada, but
I
yeah.
know, I know what you mean. Yeah, no, I feel you. But it was the marriage part that kind of took it
Yeah.
away. Because a lot of people want to get married, but the fact that you were married at such a young age and you guys are still
Yeah.
together, that also is what showed me that you've had to go through some things earlier in your life
Yeah.
to be able to be prepared for that. Because
That's true.
marriage is
Oh,
not
it's
just
not a walk in the park, girl. I know.
I'm saying
Yeah, I
it's
know,
not just something
especially
you just agree on and you're like,
for
okay.
sure.
But
For sure.
it's just the
Yeah,
fact
no.
that, yeah.
No, most definitely. You're right. You're
Hmm.
right. But I love it. I feel like it was meant to be in that part of my life also. Helped me grow
Hmm.
and with somebody, like build, but like grow in love and everything. And we got to grow together because he was also young. My husband was 24, turning 25 in November. So we were both
Right.
babies. So
Maybe.
so it was a beautiful thing to actually be with somebody. And he's the oldest also in his family. So to grow
Wow.
together and build together and still
Mm.
come through it in a way that we still really love each other and it's growing like
Yeah.
so
Because
beautiful.
that just made me
Yeah.
think about how, as I was saying that, it made me think about how so many people, let's say, I can just use marriage as an example.
Yeah.
They want to get married or they want like a relationship when they don't realize that what they're currently going through is actually preparing them for that thing, you know?
Yes.
And wow, I'm speaking to myself because it's the same
Mhm.
thing with a job, right? It's
Yes.
like, honestly, you want, like, say, a position or you want to acquire a certain type of influence, but it's like you don't realize that there are steps to actually get there, you know?
Yep.
So the fact that you had to go through what you had to go through prepared you all to have
Hmm.
what you have now, you know?
Yeah.
And the fact that, even your chronic illness, that
Yeah.
even prepared you too to be
Yeah.
the type of teacher that you are
I
to
am
that the
today.
kids
Right.
need, you
Hmm.
know? So it just kind of puts things into perspective for all of us. Like,
Yes.
you are never too far away from what you want, but it's like it's enjoying, or not even just enjoying, it's just taking the process or going throughout the journey with ease and understanding that even though you're not there yet, it doesn't mean that you'll never get there. It's just around the corner.
That part. And I feel like even like I seen a quote that also goes to that too, is like you're living in your prayers
Oh, that
currently.
was the quote from what, 2 weeks ago?
Yes, and that
Yeah.
is so true because you don't realize it. Because like life is so go, 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 and your goals keep changing. Yes, your goals can keep elevating, but never forget that you are where you were praying for a couple years back or even a year back, you know? So I feel
Mhm.
like we have to not forget about that, you know, and reflect and also
Mhm.
live in the moment, you know, be grateful where we are and where we can take it, but never forget
Yeah,
living in our blessings.
yes, and I think that if we start looking at our challenges as preparation, then
Yes.
we will start looking at our situations a lot differently. We'll start being like, I'm just being prepared. It's not
Yes.
a challenge, it's just a preparation. It may be hard, but it's just preparing me for where I'm supposed to go. And
Yes.
possibly that is what will speed up the process even more because maybe God just wants us to acknowledge that He's not out to get us, but He's just
Yes.
preparing us.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I think that mindset, oh my, you took the words right out of my head. That is such a
Oh, you're
beautiful way or concept to look into life.
Yeah,
Preparation instead of challenges. I love that.
that was God. That just came to me. That was definitely was
Whew,
just God. That was God. He's all
hit
he's
you with
all
the word.
he's all in there.
Love that.
I can't
Love
take
that.
credit. I don't know where it came from because
Well,
honestly,
that's a word right there. Like,
yeah.
wow.
Wow.
Breather. Wow.
Wow. Right. All right. Let me ask two more questions. Let me find some good ones. Okay. So, what do you always carry with you?
What do I always carry with me? Like physically, or it's just something like,
I mean, there's no specifics. It just says what do you always carry with you. However you interpret it.
okay. The way that I interpret it could be anything. The one thing that I feel like I always carry with me, like, is just, it's not physically, but it's just in me is kindness.
Love it.
Yeah, it's kindness. Going through life the way my interactions with anybody, whether it's with people, whether it's with nature, is just being a person that's kind, because you never know what people are going through the world. And you never know that one smile or that one thank you or that one how was your day today can mean somebody, or maybe that's going through so much, and maybe that day you made their day, or they needed
Mm,
to hear that. And then again, reflecting back in Islam, one thing is that our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that, like, you only have two things. It's like your deen, but with your deen, the way that it shows is through how you interact with people, and it's through kindness, you know.
mm,
So like it's through how kind you are to people, how you treat people, whether
right.
they're like in face to face, behind closed doors, is the same, you know.
Mhm.
So I feel like that's one thing that I've put that's been like with me now more that I'm older, is being kind or carrying
I
kindness.
I love that. That is so beautiful. My
Yeah.
response is not as deep. But
Okay.
but that was beautiful. Honestly, I just love when you bring in what Prophet Muhammad
Yeah.
says because I love learning about new perspectives and even new cultures. So I just love that because for
Yeah.
me, I have such analytical and a very like a conceptual mind.
Yeah.
So I see things in like a food web in a way. So whenever you say something, I'm able to be like, oh wow, that connects to this and that connects to this. And so it kind of makes my world a lot more colorful. So I love that you share things. That's amazing. And I'm sure you're blessing everybody too that don't even know much about Islam.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
And yeah, and then again, with that comes is like when people now can look at it, oh, like they'll be like, hey, look at Mrs. Sound or look at Zara and how she's a good Muslim, like she's a nice, kind
Right.
person, right? So we're defining the stereotype that is being put into the world from our interactions, right? Nobody can
Hmm.
say then not all Muslim people are
Yeah.
terrorists or they're bad people, because look at the way
No.
we are in the world. Look at the work that we do, you know? So that too
Yeah, I
is,
think we should all be open to listening to different perspectives, even if you don't partake in a religion or if you don't partake in
yes,
anything. Like it's so amazing to hear and learn another
of
perspective from
course.
your own.
Yeah.
You know, what I always carry with me, honestly, I'm a person that doesn't like to carry anything. If I didn't have to wear a purse, I wouldn't. I love fanny packs.
You. I'm
Really?
the same. I hate it.
I
I don't like purses, guys. Wow. I can't.
I
No,
hate
like
them.
I legit I hate them. I
hate
hate them
them.
so much.
I
Like
hate having something hanging on me, like, I don't
all the
know.
time. Like, I don't even my husband laughs at me because I don't even carry a wallet. Like, I don't all I carry is my phone and my lip gloss. That's it. If
Yo,
I have to carry something, it'd probably be like a tote bag that I'm putting over. But if I'm going,
me too.
I am not carrying anything not
Nope.
like that.
I
Mm-mm.
hate having things in my hands. Like, I don't like having anything. Like, if I'm walking outside and let's say I'll get a drink, I don't like, I'll have to finish it right then and there. I don't like carrying anything.
Same.
And like I said,
Yeah.
like I'll have like even today I wore a fanny pack and I wear
Yeah.
it sling around my body and it's
Yeah.
small and it just holds my wallet
Yeah.
and like you said, lip gloss
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
maybe a
Yeah.
pen.
Yeah.
Um, but I like to travel very light.
Me too. Oh my God, we definitely have that in common because I'm the
Yeah.
same. I'm a late
Like
traveler.
you know how some girls they just have like these huge bags. No, no
Yeah.
judgment. Huge
Same.
bags, but
Yeah.
I cannot do that.
Yeah.
I
Same.
can't.
Same. I'm the same. Like that's why I
Lord,
like having things with pockets.
me
If
too.
I even can
Listen,
like ditch the tote bag, I'm only putting
girl.
things that fit in my pocket.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially if
That,
it's a good pocket that is
yeah.
not doesn't
Good
make you look
size.
bulky because
Yes.
oh
Like
I can't stand that.
exactly.
Or when they
Oh,
have these jeans that have fake pockets,
I
who
know.
does that?
Blows my
Thought
mind.
about that
Blows my
idea. Why would you make jeans with no pockets?
fashion people. Come on, do better, designers.
It frustrates me.
Mm,
Ugh.
wow. We have
Anyways,
that in
we
common.
do have that in common. All right, last question. Last question, because
Mm,
this is very long. Let's see. Okay, this would be a good way to end it off because it is a teacher podcast.
Very nice.
Who is your greatest teacher and why?
Oh, oh, that's a good one. Damn, who is my greatest teacher? Well, I think it changes all the time, but I would definitely say right now would be my parents because everything that I remember they used to tell me growing up, and I'm like, you don't know anything, or you don't know anything. It's like now as an adult, I truly appreciate their words, and their advice, and their wisdom now that I'm like an adult. I'm like 29 years old, living and understanding their circumstances and how like it's crazy to me how like they came to this country not knowing the language, climate is different, no support, came here and built a life, had kids,
Mm,
and did it in a way that where there's love in the home, and they've taught us the religion, but in a great way that we can connect, and we can also take that and bring it in, like teach our future children. I think that's a beautiful thing. So I would give credit to my parents because without them, I they're my number one teachers in this world.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom has definitely taught me a lot too.
Yeah.
I would say that besides like because I besides learning about like Jesus and like
Mhm.
what he's done to like how he has been to people and learning
Yeah.
about grace and learning about even if people do wrong to you or hurt you just to show
Yeah.
people love.
Yeah.
Um, besides that being a teacher for me,
Mhm.
I would have to say my greatest teacher, I definitely would have to say Natalie. Like,
Yeah.
I think like she's my coach, but she
Mhm.
also, I think, is like a big sister that I've never had. Like I said, I'm an only child.
Yeah.
So I would say that she has been my biggest teacher because she has taught me a lot. Like
Yeah.
even though I've learned a lot about business, I've
Yeah.
learned just a lot about how to be a person. Like,
Yeah.
I grew up in a single parent household and my mom worked a lot. So throughout my childhood, she tried her the very best she could,
Mhm.
but there was some like fundamental things that I literally have never learned. And
Mhm.
so when I met Natalie, it's like she was able to teach me even like how to connect with people that I wasn't getting along with, how to
Yeah.
see things from diverse perspectives, not just seeing it from my perspective, but like seeing how the other person may see it. And
Mhm.
then that's a way how you can forgive, or that's a way how you can understand
Mhm.
where another person's coming from.
Yeah.
She taught me a lot about just, grace, a lot about forgiveness,
Yeah.
and a lot about just like I keep saying it, but interpersonal connections, because I think that's like sometimes the hardest part about
For sure.
life is dealing with other people.
Yeah.
and us not feeling understood. And I think I give a lot of credit to her pushing me to be my full authentic self, because honestly it was hard for me after I went through that situation
Mm,
to come and to understand even who I even am anymore, because when people speak about you, when they say all these things about you that aren't necessarily true, you
mhm.
start to question, like, if your
True.
whole existence really is a lie, if you've been
Mhm.
living in this lie for how many years,
Yeah.
especially if you don't have a solidified sense of self.
Yeah.
So she definitely has been a very important person in my life to
I love that.
do that and consistently always point me to God. And um, actually, because of her vulnerability, actually helped me to even build my faith even the more with,
Yeah.
with my relationship with God. So yeah.
I love that because even like in Islam, they say that, like we say that those who always remind you of like Allah, which is God, and your faith and to do good and to be your best self are you're around good company. So you're
Mhm.
around great people. Like those are like the best friends. Like those are good people for you in this world. People who always remind you of how great you are, but also remind you of God and how like about your religion in a way. That's beautiful. So I
Yeah.
love that you have that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Like the big sister I literally never had. So, you know.
That's beautiful.
Um, but awesome. So let's get into our advice.
Yes. So advice for me from everything from this episode and things that we talked about. I would definitely, in relating it back to whether it's teaching, whether it's you being a parent, or whether it's students, is just being kind to one another, and having grace for one another, right? And understanding each other's different perspectives of situations, right? And always taking time to not just reacting, but trying to putting yourself in the other person's shoes and understanding that everyone doesn't kind of think the same way that you do, whether that's logical or critical or like different like colored, and just to understand that there's space for all of us, and we can also coexist in a way that we don't have to be putting each other down, right? Like not saying negative things to each other, and making our interactions more positive. So I think that's key because I remember when I was a student teacher and I would hear remarks from other teachers and it would be so negative, and to just take the time, be like, people that you're talking about are humans too, and understand that, hey, reflect back. Why are you feeling that way? And how can you go and talk to the person, or whether it's a student, whether it's another teacher, and in a more of a respectful but open-minded way, um, create some sort of relationship where it isn't tense, where the environment is negative, right? Because
Mm,
nobody likes negative in environments where people are just putting you down or you're just toxic. So how can we make or form a healthy community? And I feel like no, that number one way is through is kindness. If we're all kind to each other and we all remember that we're humans, then I feel like the world would definitely be a better place.
I love that. That's beautiful. Honestly, I feel like I don't even have advice because you said that. You just
Can you
you kind of
follow?
just took it, you just took it all away. You know what then? You know what my advice will be is
Yeah.
the Bible verse. It's Psalms 30 and 5 is what I said earlier. Weeping may last for the night, but a shout of joy comes in the morning.
Yes.
So gonna say that
I
because I
love
kind of feel like despite that we both talked about the different things we went through that changed
it.
our life, it still seemed as if there was a moment that we wouldn't get out of it.
Yeah.
However, there's always a light at the end if you just believe that there is.
Woo! That was a word. The stage
Another word.
word. Woo! Two.
Yes.
I love that. So now we're heading into our quotes. And again, going back from what just Tasia's beautiful word, second word of the day that she did today. I have a quote from Maya Angelou. And it's we may encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated, right? And it goes just with what Deja just said. Sometimes we feel like we're stuck in a situation and we can't see no way out, but there is always a way.
Hmm.
You always have to get up and keep going.
So
You got
good. Just
this.
gotta keep up. Just gotta get up and keep going. Okay, that's a
Yes.
word from you, Miss Hassan.
Oh,
Okay, let's go.
thank
Okay,
you.
just okay, mine. Okay. So I used to be a K through 5 literacy and art teacher. And so one thing I used to do was I used to find really fun picture books and I used to teach the kids these really huge concepts, but they never even realized because they were all out of picture books. They were just enjoying the
Mhm.
book. So one of my favorite books that I taught them was Oh, the Places We'll Go, because if you read Dr. Seuss books, they are so, so deep. And if you don't pay attention, you will definitely miss it.
Yep.
So, I don't even know which one to pick. Okay, I'll pick this one. Okay. So here we go. This one says, somehow you'll escape all that waiting and staying. You'll find that bright places where boom bands are playing. So I love that because it goes hand in hand with what we were talking about today too. Someday you'll escape all that waiting and staying. You know how somehow, even when we're talking about our experiences, we're waiting, we're praying, we're like trying to find where we fit, what's going on, why am I still sick? But then, like I said earlier with the quote with the Bible verse, you'll find the bright places where boom bands are playing. So eventually, the light will be at the end and you'll eventually find your place where you're supposed to be.
I love that. Oh my God.
Oh my
Woo!
God.
Wow.
I
No,
love today's
I
episode.
love
This was so
this.
cute.
Wow. And what was this game called again? Because this game is 10 out of 10. I
10 out
like
of 10, the
it.
and, right? If you guys
Yeah.
want to sponsor us, we're not opposed to it, right?
Literally, we got you
We
guys.
got you guys. All right. Um, okay, so it is called The and there's an app, Zara. So if you want to play with your husband or your other friends, it's so
Yep.
fun. We have a group of friends, and I
Yeah.
think it's so fun too if you actually buy the cards.
I
Too.
definitely will.
Yeah.
You have convinced me. The end. Deja convinced me to buy cards and the app at the same time. So you have one new customer here. The
Yeah. You see and listen,
Yes.
like the company. I mean, Zara has about almost 77K on Instagram right now. You know how much I'm hurt. I'm That's all I have to say. I'm
You
telling
want me? Email me.
I mean,
We got you.
we got you. So, yeah, I'll send you the link and everything for you guys to check that out. We'll even put their information underneath the podcast information so you can't
Yeah,
get all the details. But Zara, I love this episode. I
I love it.
cannot wait for our next one.
It's gonna be insane. And what I realize is I got to know Tasia more, but we are very similar.
I know.
For sure. It's just like I'm like peeling back the layers and it's just like, yeah, yes. This
This
is
is
why.
me. I am her. We
Why.
connect.
Literally. You see me, you see her. You see her, you
You
see
see
me.
me. That's why the person on Instagram thought we were twins.
Yeah. So now there you go. Maybe not physically, but mentally we there. We
We're there.
there.
Man. All right, girl. End of the episode. We'll see you
Yes.
guys very soon,
Have fun. We shall see you and hashtag them 90s teachers to join the conversation.
as you should.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.